Okay. When I upload these, you guys will not be able to see the time that has lapsed between the last little clip that my camera was attempting to do and this one. But it is definitely a course correction. I was getting really angry over the constant interruptions, but after going and having a little cleansing session and chat with the angels, I'd like to give a shout out to my son for his perfect timing in his phone call. Thank you. And to my friend also, thank you. It took both of you to get through to me that something was wrong with what I was saying. And they have clarified on this last card that I was talking about with the energy from the last year, what they wanted me to correct, what they wanted to emphasize was that this world card, they don't want me to imply or say, because it's not, that all of your possibilities are closing. You have to pick one thing for the rest of your life and that's it. But they do want you to know that this time coming as spring is coming. You've had all of this, as I was saying, and that's a whole nother video, and they thought I was getting a little long-winded with it. So again, I'll try to do that in some kind of other video at some point. But for those of you that are at the beginning stages of this, at the beginning start of just kind of figuring out what you're supposed to do and where you're supposed to go, and all possibilities are still open, this is not going to apply, this particular piece is not going to apply to you as strongly yet. Okay, you still have all of that self-work to do to find out what you want to do, to figure it out. But for those of us who are at this tail end, who've had this last year of tower after tower after tower, and the universe is just pushing you. And as I wasn't trying to use personal examples, but this is probably a good time to make an exception, which I'll probably do a lot of, because they do a lot of that with me. As much as I try to keep myself out of it, this was a perfect example. I was starting to say it wrong, and in my passion for trying to get the feeling into words, I was missing something that they were saying. And so when I wasn't stopping with the first phone call and the first video interruption and the second one, they literally created another interruption to stop me dead in my tracks, where I could not go any further until I stopped to transfer files from the main phone onto the SD card, which took enough time that they could be in my ear the whole time. So we're going to go through course corrections like that as we go along this process. If you're too far off course, those are those little, I would call this a micro tower moment. Like, it's a frustrating second, and then you have to stop for a minute and think. And in that moment, when I was doing something physical and my brain was kind of like, there was nothing else I could do but listen, that's when the course correction happened. So having gone through that, just be patient with the course corrections. They're important, and this one is very important. It's not that all possibilities are closed forever. It's just that right now, as we're coming out of this self-reflection phase, when we come into spring, it's a time to focus on that one thing. It's like, yes, there's going to be a garden, but we have to tend to that one tree that we started. We have to focus on that. And then we can add the next piece. So our possibilities of how we're going to get to the end goal are there. There was also a personal lesson for the whole situation to me in it, and I won't go into my personal thing, but it does have to do back with this card about instead of focusing on like, okay, what's this little objective right now and why am I getting frustrated? I lost sight of what the end goal was. And the end goal isn't, do I get this all in there in one piece? The end goal is, do I get the message the way it's supposed to be? So on that note, what they wanted to make very clear was that it's not an end to all possibilities forever. It's just that right now, as spring comes, we need to choose what we're going to focus on. What is it that is going to be most in alignment with our end goal? And that end goal should be a reflection of what we want to feel, of what we want our lives to look like, and how we want to help the universe, and how we want to give back, and what does that look like for us. And so, as we come up on this spring, as we narrow that down, that's what this tail end of this last year has been about, or this tail end of this journey, I should say, this last year, for those of us on this wave, on the first wave of this, or, well, my first wave of this. I'm sure that many people before us, since the planet's been around for thousands of years, have gone through this before. But the ones that are on this wave with me this last year, that has been tower after tower after tower, that's what it's been about, is getting us to clarify what we want and how we want to do things. And so they want to make it clear that, this coming spring, it's time for us to go ahead and focus on that path. If we haven't already chosen how that's going to look, if we haven't already chosen what we want from that, or how we want to do that, now is that ASAP time here at this tail end of winter to go inside and reflect and think about this past year and what it's taught us, and think about the past couple of years and what have we learned, and where do we want to go. And the energy coming forward with that is the Five of Cups. And the Five of Cups for me has always been a cup where, especially with this deck, you can see she's got 3 cups in front of her, and she's no longer paying attention to the 3 spilt cups. She's no longer crying over it. She's no longer worried about it. But she hasn't yet turned around to those 2 remaining cups. She's not offering anything to anyone just yet, but she isn't accepting anything just yet. She's kind of in that place where all she has to do is turn around and realize that she still has everything she needs right there. Because you don't need to guzzle 5 cups. You just need right there. It's just right behind her. She just needs to look. And that's kind of what's coming for us in spring. But in the upside, or in the reverse for me, and I get this energy. Normally in the reverse, I would say, okay, you're turning around. You're already looking at it. But I want to say we're not quite at spring yet. So we're right there. We're almost in that spot where we can see everything clearly. We're almost in that spot where we can turn around and just look. And it's right there. Okay. And then from there, it just starts gathering momentum. And I'm getting goosebumps. I don't think you can see it on camera, but I'm getting chills and goosebumps. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that moving forward energy, and I can't wait to build on this new stuff. I'm going to leave it there for now, even though this is kind of bits and pieces. I will tell you on a personal note, I know, and this is for you guys. I know that one of the things that I have failed to do over the last few years, that I keep getting prompted by stuff like this to learn, is to do the editing, or to find someone who knows how to do it and to trust them with it. I have attempted to do the finding someone to do it. Unfortunately, I find that most of the people in my life are on the same wavelength and going through the same towers, and they don't have time, and everything's crazy for them as well. So I guess that one's going to be kind of up to me. If anyone in the comment section knows of a good program that works with an Android phone, it's great for editing. I am in the process of trying to get a computer back up and running. So if it's on a computer, that's fine too. If you let me know, anyone that knows of something made for someone like me I can learn technology, but it takes me a minute or longer. And it's not my favorite thing in the world to do, to sit around trying to learn the technology part of it. If it doesn't make sense to me, if it's not, put A here and B here, if it gets too complicated, I'm not looking to learn a whole new programming language, in other words. If it's plug and play, if it's easy, please post it. I need some help, clearly. And I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. In fact, if someone gives me a program that is easy to use and that I can do, I will award a free reading for that. Just like, I'll look through your comments. I'll read them. If someone has a good program and I end up using it, I'll do like a free 15-minute reading. I need some help. In the meantime, I want to leave you with my last words on this. I know this year has been really hard for a lot of people. I appreciate everybody who's watched my videos so far, everybody who might watch them in the future. I hope that this helps someone out there. Even if it only helps one person, it's worth it. And I thank you for being on this earthly journey with me. And I look forward to a wonderful, beautiful new year. And I hope you all are blessed with a wonderful, beautiful year. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.